So let's talk about the new HELLRAISER, the Hulu exclusive HELLRAISER from director David Bruckner. Fair warning, there may be some mild spoilers in this review. Although the expected plot points of any HELLRAISER movie remain the same here, Bruckner and crew have rewritten the lore just a little. Now this HELLRAISER, I wouldn't consider a remake or even a reboot really. This HELLRAISER has very little connective tissue to any of the other HELLRAISER films, aside from the puzzle box being a gateway to ultimate experience, and your guide to that experience being a regal demon with pins in its head. At the center of the story is addiction. One character's addiction to the pleasures of the flesh, and another character's addiction to drugs and alcohol. It's through these addictions that both characters come to possess the puzzle box, but it's how they choose to use the box that's uniquely their own. One character uses the box as a means to feed souls to the Cenobites so they can be granted a one-on-one with their boss, Leviathan, and be gifted whatever their black heart desires. The other character uses the box much the same as a monkey would a chainsaw. What I mean is, if you're anywhere in their vicinity, you're screwed. Unfortunately, this character, Riley, is the protagonist, and you're supposed to sympathize with her, root for her, and so on. But that's difficult when you realize that she's a horribly irresponsible person whose actions lead to the gruesome demise of many. Now, the movie tries to manipulate our feelings for Riley by how obvious it makes the fact that she's being manipulated by someone else, but it doesn't quite work. It's no fault of Odessa Azion, who plays Riley. Her performance is fine. It's the writing that damns her. The rest of the cast delivers strong performances as well, but the human actors, with the exception of Goran Visnjic, are overshadowed by the Cenobites. As for the Cenobites, I like the variety of Cenobites here, and the fact that Pinhead or the Hell Priest didn't get the lion's share of their dialogue or screen time. The designs for the Cenobites were also cool. I dug the fact that their flesh had been fashioned almost like clothing, or in the case of Pinhead, to look somewhat like the character's classic attire. There's an Asian female Cenobite who makes a big impression. I don't recall seeing her in the trailer or any of the pre-release photos. She was a nice surprise, and a cool callback to the female Cenobite from HELLRAISERs 1 and 2, with a hint of Angelique from Bloodline. The Cenobite who looks like it's crying black tears was also interesting. Flathead, as I like to call him, is unfortunately not in the movie very much, and the Chatterer is back. A HELLRAISER isn't quite a HELLRAISER without a Chatterer, now is it? He's still very much portrayed as the muscle, Pinhead's enforcer. I know there's already been all sorts of praise heaped upon Jamie Clayton and her performance as Pinhead. I'll give her this, she's the second best actor to play the role. Kudos to Clayton for making it her own though. Pinhead isn't over the top here. She doesn't go on any long-winded yet articulate soliloquies about the fine line between pleasure and pain. Although she does recite a couple of Pinhead's golden oldies from the past. And maybe it's just me, but I thought Pinhead was kinda hot here. Clayton's Pinhead has its own presence. It's not quite as demanding as Doug Bradley's, but it's demanding in its own way. I kinda felt like the score didn't do Pinhead or really any of the Cenobites any justice. The score takes cues from Christopher Young's classic theme, but does so in what I thought was a muted kind of way. Even during the sequence in which Leviathan appears, the music, which should be at an 11 at this point, only reaches a 6 or a 7 at most. The music was such an integral part of the first two HELLRAISERs, and when Young's theme swelled to announce the presence of the Cenobites, it was epic. We don't get that here. From a technical point of view, the movie looks fantastic. The cinematography is on point, and the visual effects and the designs of the sets are quite good. I also dug how they redesigned the puzzle box, giving it all these different configurations that align with the various blessings Leviathan can bestow upon its faithful. If I had to compare Bruckner's HELLRAISER to any of the previous films, I'd have to say it's more on point with the first two in terms of tone, although there were some slashery moments more in line with HELLRAISER 3 and 4 here and there. I mean, they had 2 hours to fill, so I don't mind having the Cenobites go after a couple of people in stalk and slash kind of scenarios. And though 2 hours seems a bit much for a HELLRAISER, I have to say the movie didn't feel like 2 hours at all. It's a far better movie than any of the direct-to-video sequels, most of which I hardly consider HELLRAISER movies to begin with, and I'm sure most will say it's the best HELLRAISER since Hellbound. But, as I said before, this HELLRAISER felt very much like its own thing. Yes, there's a Leviathan, yes, there's a Cenobite with pins in its head, yes, there's a puzzle box, but Bruckner, along with screenwriters Luke Piotrowski and Ben Collins, have reshaped the lore just enough to make the movie stand on its own, while still paying homage to what came before. This new HELLRAISER didn't knock my socks off or anything, and I have some gripes, but overall, I still enjoyed the experience of watching it, and I think you will too. I say check it out. If you've seen the new HELLRAISER, please let me know your thoughts on the film down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching, or in this case, listening. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Thank you to all my patrons and channel members. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and have a say in what content appears on my channel. Join me for monthly live streams and much more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.